Our next project to build is a 148 Mi-24 Hind gunship. This kit was originally started by the original owner, as you can see, but nothing was removed from the sprue. The $20 price tag I paid makes it great for being my first helicopter. First thing on our to-do list is to get the cockpit ready. Now, I probably should have primed this on the sprue. Our nose cannon also connects to the cockpit and it's fully operational. Now add the front nose gear well. Getting the crew compartment ready for paint is easy. There's some slight fitment issues in the seat, but everything goes together quite smoothly. I'm going to be using the AK paint markers to do the entire interior. I'm glad there's windows to see inside the crew compartment, otherwise I would skip it. I'm going to be using the AK Models Master Marker set to paint the entire interior of the Mi-24 Hind gunship. This would work better on aircraft where the seats aren't molded to the cockpit. I enjoy doing detail painting more this way, as a touch-up is always right there and ready to go. That all the interior pieces are painted, I'm adding an oiled earth Vallejo wash. This helps make everything used and worn. While that dries, we can add our pilot controls. Add the same wash to the pilot section, and the crew section is now ready to assemble. There's one door on the helicopter I think I can leave in the open position, or it's meant to be a working mechanism. Same with the rotors, they're meant to be spinning as well. Pretty soon we'll be closing the helicopter up and working on the exterior. Slowly working on piecing the cockpit together, I find areas I missed paint coverage. That's my favorite thing about these paint pens. They're right there and ready to go. A combination of these paint pens and the new magnifying glasses I got allow me to do an outstanding job on this instrument panel. I even painted the red on the needles, if you didn't notice that. Now that our interior is finished, we can glue our fuselage together. Now that we have the interior painted and the fuselage joined together, we gotta address these nasty seams. I use a sharp hobby knife to sand the seams flush. I then use Vallejo plastic putty to leave a small trace of it over top of the seam and then push it into the crack using a Q-tip. Here we can see one of the joys of working with these old kits from the 1990s. Massive seams. Easy to correct, but they're annoying. Now the wings are for holding the rocket pods, and without even mounting them on, I can already see where I'm going to have to use some more filler putty. The tips of the rocket pods are a dark aluminium color, so I'm going to leave them off and paint them separate. This is a great trick right here. Prime your seams and see if they need any more attention. Moving on to mounting the wings, you guessed it, there's more alignment issues. These ones aren't as serious as some of the other ones on the aircraft, and I addressed them really quick. In my opinion, having the wings on sure makes this aircraft look a lot more aggressive. Since these wires come off the helicopter blades, I wanted to get them off the sprue and built and put somewhere safe where Butterfingers himself couldn't break them. Hold these firmly in place, then show off and see if you can ruin all your progression. Masking the canopy is easy. I use some magnifying glasses, 2mm Tamiya tape, and some larger frog tape to fill in the spaces. If you're wondering, yes, this takes a little bit of time. Figure painting is something I've slowly worked on and gotten better at over the 2 years I've been scale modeling. Everything but the face tone was done using AK Models markers. To highlight the figure, I use a Vallejo acrylic wash. You can go the long route and get much better results, but I like this way because it's quick and easy. With the majority of the gunship now together, it's a good time to prime all the pieces like the landing gear. I start backtracking the instruction manual to add all the pieces I left off until the fuselage seams were addressed. Like I said, that's the joy of these old kits, fixing those horrible seams. Finally, time to get the canopy mounted. I paint where it's going to sit on top of, that would be one of the pilot's dashes. I pre-paint the canopy the same color as the interior. And just like that, we're off to priming the aircraft. Now we can prime the gunship. I'm using Vallejo Black Primer. This takes a few coats to make sure you get good surface coverage, but it's a necessary step for any model build. I've got to quit doing this before I break them. Before applying the base coat, we're going to do a little highlighting. This will subtly sit behind the base coat and help create differences in color. You're supposed to highlight the panel and leave the panel line dark. I'm using Model Color Dark Sand for the base coat. When I was cleaning my airbrush before the base coat, I managed to lose my 0.35mm needle. Couldn't seem to find replacement parts for the Galari Advanced Series airbrush, so I just ordered a new one. I like this color choice. I'll probably use it for the upcoming Humvee build. For the underside, rather than go the long route of taping everything off and using the airbrush, I decided to use another one of these AK Models paint markers. It takes a couple passes to get a solid color, but ever since I heard someone else did a tank, I wanted to try it. For the camouflage pattern, I'm once again using an AK Models paint pen. I start by drawing the outline of the camouflage pattern and then fill it in. Using these paint pens, it can take multiple coats to solidify them. For just using colors close enough, I mean, it's pretty close. For the blade color choice, I do some Googling, and it says forest green for the tops of the blades. It also says red and yellow tips, so I do red on the top and yellow on the bottom. I wanted to highlight these cables that come off of each blade, so I use gray to highlight them. I use gunmetal on the ends of the blades to simulate where the paint would polish off. Continuing with painting the Hind, this area of the rotor is black in my reference photos. So are the exhaust. I'm going to try to make these look weathered with the Tamiya Weathering Master set later on. Like I've said before, my favorite thing about these AK Models paint pens is if you make a mistake and you need a touch-up, it's right there and ready to go. Painting the tail rotor in the exact same way I painted the main rotor. Apply some satin clear coat to our Hind D model. While that dries, I use AK Models paint markers to paint up the wheels and missiles. Get the wheels off the runner, assemble them, and use a rubber black paint pen to paint them. Moving on to the decals, I'm using Microsol and Microset, a setting solution for decals. Keep in mind, this is a 1990 kit, so there's not too many decals to add. I've said this before in many builds, adding decals is one of my favorite parts. When I was painting on these orange amber reflective lights, I accidentally ruined one of the Russian stars. Oh well. Before I get started on the weathering, I just want to say I'm using the Tamiya Weathering Master Set. And this is my first time using this product, and I didn't watch a tutorial video on how to use it. I start by applying the soot color to all the panel lines. I then use a wet cotton bud and blend it until I get a look I'm satisfied with. If you know of a better way of using this product or a great replacement brush, please comment. It's gonna need a little bit more love, but I'm liking the way it looks. With the body of the Hind now weathered, we can move on to the propellers. I'm still using the Tamiya Weathering Master Set and using colors like black on top of the green and gray on top of the black. I then follow up with a wet Q-tip. This helps give it a worn look. With most of the Hind helicopter now complete, we can move on to adding the sub-assemblies like rockets and rocket pods. For an old kit, these go on a lot smoother than I anticipated, and I didn't have to make too many modifications to have a nice flush finish. When working on these old kits, it's important to test fit each piece before adding it. You'll run into a lot of problems where stuff doesn't align, and with a hobby knife, you can quickly adjust it. I leave fragile pieces like wheels and landing gear until the end. Whenever you're building a model, you're constantly picking it up and putting it down, and this has a tendency to get small pieces broke. The rocket pods on screen required both sanding and force to put in place. Before removing the mask, we can install this intake guard on the Hind helicopter. It's always therapeutic to watch someone remove the mask from their model. but from the modeler's perspective, it's full of anxiety, hoping that nothing is screwed up underneath. Try to be careful when you remove the mask. You can still scratch the canopy that's underneath. You can see a couple areas around the front windshield I'll need to touch up using the paint markers. Like I said earlier, a lot of these pieces have been left off so that they're not constantly broke off and then reapplied to the model. I carefully reread the instruction manual to identify pieces I purposely left off. The Hind helicopter first came into production in 1969. If early models are included in the numbers, it's estimated that 5,200 of these were made in total. The V variant is the most produced, with 1,500 models in total. My model is a D model Hind. Finally, we can call our 1990 Mi-24 Hind gunship complete. This gunship starred in 2 Rambo movies and was the inspiration for the LAAT seen in Star Wars Episode 2. These old models I pick up with no regard for the outcome of how they churn out really allow me to come out of my comfort zone and be willing to try new things. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next build.